But now, because you didn't have intention then, you're doing things that you don't want to do now. You're living where you don't want to live. You're wearing what you don't want to wear. You're driving what you don't want to drive. You turn that around by getting on an intentional spending plan. How do you do that? You add up what Hello, and welcome back, Gen X fam. We are talking about this week 5 of the biggest financial mistakes common to Gen Xers that we've made that have crippled our ability to retire. But there's hope, because you can turn it around. We've already covered 3 fails and 3 ways to turn them around. Today we're going to cover the last 2. And number 4 was, if you recall, paying for your children's education at the sacrifice of your own retirement. Look, you cannot do this. I understand that this is what you want to do. Some of you may still be in the process of doing that. Some of you may be getting ready to do that. And some of you might be thinking about doing it for your grandchildren. However, you got to apply the principle of put your mask on first. So stop the madness. If you haven't planned ahead of time comfortably to save for their education, then you're just going to have to find another way. There's scholarships, and there's ways of kids working their way through school. Many famous and successful people have worked their way through school, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, studies have shown that kids who work their way through school actually do better academically. So you don't have to cripple yourself. Stop the madness. You don't have to feel guilty. Take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, because if you don't, then you become a burden on them. And then what's the point of putting them through college and getting them on this great start if you're just going to suck them dry later by being a burden on them? Doesn't make any sense. Number 5, your failure to live on a budget, because we grew up in the cribs, in the lifestyles of the rich and famous, of the gangster rap star period where you flossing and buying things. God, you didn't live by a budget. You didn't learn to appreciate what a spending plan does. You thought of it as chains, when really it was a freedom plan to show you how you can enjoy life responsibly, intentionally. But now, because you didn't have intention then, you're doing things that you don't want to do now. You're living where you don't want to live. You're wearing what you don't want to wear. You're driving what you don't want to drive. You turn that around by getting on an intentional spending plan. How do you do that? You add up what your obligations are. You add up what you have coming in, and you make them fit. Now you apply my principle of the 70-10-10-10 rule, meaning you live your life on 70% of your net, your take home. You make everything fit into that. Everything. Then, with the remaining 30%, you're going to divide it up 3 ways. 10% goes to saving, 10% goes to investing, 10% goes to your debt snowball. This makes sure that you take care of your today and you still plan for your tomorrow. It gives you the ability to have the flexibility to meet life's challenges now and have the life you want later on. So if you need help with that, you can look at my videos before on intentional spending plans. You can ask for a free strategy session. Do anything. Educate yourself financially. Buy books. Watch videos. It doesn't have to be me. Be somebody. But for God's sake, get your financial house in order so that Gen X can flex later on instead of suffering now and tomorrow. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Remember, Gen X, we are strong, we are powerful, we are the ones who did it. We did it boldly, and we did it without helmets and pads. We figured out a way to do it. I know you can figure out a way to do it. I worked my way through it, and if I could do it, of all people, I know this mess up did it. You can do it too. All right, guys, you have a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon with some more tips. And if you want more, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Intentional Money Solutions, where you'll always keep up on the latest free community service tips that I put out there for everyone. All right, have a great one. See you soon.